Look at me.
I told you I was getting sniped by frickin' Barfield on Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, we've got live Scott Fishbowl action going on right now. Greenberg is in his draft. It's a slow draft. Schultz is in his draft as well. So we're going to be bringing you those updates into everything. But let's hit the intro. Producer. Welcome to the Dynasty Pulse. It's the summer of fish. I am Biggs. With me are Greenberg and Onesie, otherwise known as Greenberg and Schultz. We got hosts. We've got producer. We're waiting on guests. We're going to be doing a Scott Fishbowl 14 live mock draft. The reason that we're doing that, and I'll tell you this, is because today is a monumental day in the Scott Fishbowl. Number one, we've had some drafts go off live. Number two, we're still waiting on the rest of the live drafts. So there's lots of mocking action to be going on. Number three, today was the launch of all of the slow drafts. So we've got people all over the globe who are doing their drafts, picking their players. And I'll tell you what, mine isn't till Saturday. And I'd still like to hone my skills a little bit. So we're doing this. We got the mock set up. I've got an ADP list from Fantasy Life, so go to there for their SFB ADP list. I've got some rankings, and so as people are picking, I'm going to be just checking people off, and I'm taking the top of the board. That's what I'm doing with this one. Hello from Albert Maraquin. Hello, everyone. He says, hello, Albert. If anybody wants to, if anybody's watching and wants to get in on this draft, let me put a link in the comments if I can.
Yeah, I would say we got 4 spots open still.
Yeah.
Hey, well, okay. Hey, I've got a tongue tweezer of a question here, folks. All you live drafters, everybody that is now joining us for the Dynasty Pulse. I'm live in a draft right now. This is my number 3 pick. Okay. And I've got the Mahomes Kelsey stack 111 202 were my picks here. And now I have some potentials here available. And I want you guys to help me through this one here live.
Let's get the chat going. We're going to help Greenberg pick his pick.
Okay. So Jordan Love, Trey McBride, Jaden Daniels, Dalton Kincaid, Mark Andrews, Marvin Harrison Jr., and then we got some running backs like Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, and Derrick Henry. So I have Mahomes, who's kind of like your floor kind of quarterback. You get in the upside with the stack with Travis Kelce. I kind of reached there, but it was worth the stack, I think. I passed on a really good wide receiver in Amon-Ra St. Brown. What are you guys thinking here? I've got 2 guys kind of circled here as the 2 guys I would be picking here. One would be Trey McBride, and the other one would be Jaden Daniels. I could go with the upside quarterbacks. Jaden Daniels would offer a huge, rushing floor there, especially in this format. But also, Trey McBride and Travis Kelce, I have them ranked as top 3 tight ends this year. I jump on McBride, Dave Henderson. What do you guys think, boys?
McBride was my pick, and I know you, and you are huge on McBride.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't blame you for going Daniels, though. I mean, if you think about which quarterbacks are going to be left. Oh, no, you get the third. No, you're in the third. So you got a whole loop to come back around.
I got a whole loop to come back. And you know what? In this format, and I was watching a lot of, I've been researching my stuff here, and, having that second quarterback isn't something that, is if you can have your one quarterback stay healthy throughout the whole season, you don't necessarily have to flex that quarterback too, or you could find some value later on. And that's what I'm hoping to do. I really like later round guys like a Russell Wilson a Daniel Jones later on in these drafts that could really anchor your team very, very well, especially with the way these running backs have taken a huge run. I want to get on the upper side here, and if I could get another guy like a Trey McBride who is slipping past ADP at this stage, that's where I'm at. What do you think, Schultz? Have I convinced you now to change?
You know what? I think I'm in because
Dev said
Mahomes isn't getting hurt.
Oh, Dev, the ruler of thumbnails. He's talking about Kincaid here, and shout out to Dev, who is a huge
Kincaid, and then I thought he was saying draft the Ducks.
Yeah.
An Oregon.
No, I think, yeah. I shout out to Dev though, because he's a huge member of the Undroppables, providing all our kick-ass thumbnails, especially for the Uncovered series. So,
because he did hand me the keys to Canva, and I am starting to make some fire dummies on my own. So thanks, Dev. I appreciate you. I do want to shout out Jack Senzon. He needs to get a few mocks in before New York City Live. Well, Jack, you're in luck because I'm mocking every single day for the rest of the week, including 2 tomorrow, one with Andrew Cooper in the morning, one with Hoove at night. I've got Rachel and likely other guests on Wednesday night. I'm doing Thursday. I'm doing Friday. It's the summer of fish. And I couldn't be happier. Saturday, I'm gonna go. I'm getting a ride. I'm going over to Bo McBrayer's house. Undroppables, friend of the show, Bo McBrayer. He's making biscuits and gravy, and then we're gonna head down to San Francisco and get hammered and live draft. And it's gonna be.
I thought it was because you had to re-up on hot sauce.
That too. Also, Jack is like me, a fellow deadhead, and I wanted to say hello. And Iko, I got this in my studio, Jack. If you want to take a look at it. Ooh, look at that. It's my Blues for Allah banner in my.
The pick is in, ladies and gentlemen. The pick is in, and I went with Trey McBride as it's my boy, and the faithful here has so now I got a little bit of question marks headed into this later strategy. Now I got 2 tight ends and a quarterback. It's not going to leave me a whole lot coming around my next 2 picks. So what do you think my strategy should be here? They're bigs.
I don't know, because I'm kind of focused on what I'm doing right now. I'm not. I'm sorry, Mike. We're friends and all, but this is a mock draft. This is cutthroat. I have to beat you. I have to win the mock. Anyway, we've got viewers continuing to come in. What's up, Angie? I will see you on Saturday. And I mean, if you followed this link from somewhere else and you haven't subscribed in the channel, we're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers on Fantasy Football Plus. So if you could help us out, hit the subscribe button. And then this whole summer of Fish Week, you'll be getting notified that we're going on, etc. So if you go do that. Also, if you have some friends, we still have the 2, 3, and 5 spots open. You can message them real quick. I just sent it out on Twitter. I hit both of my mock draft group chats on Sleeper. We're trying to get this going. Yeah. So what round are you in? Did you say there, Greenberg? Oh no, Greenberg just left. He left.
Oh no, he's out of the building.
But was it something I said? Did I insult him when I?
Man, why did you bump me? I thought
maybe there was some Canadian slur we didn't know about. You accidentally dropped there.
I'm sorry, man. Did you have a question for me?
Is that a Canadian slur? Let's go ahead and pull him out while he's. It looks like that the hamster that's running in the wheel powering internet in Canada died. So we'll give him some time to get back. And I was going to go in and give him some advice.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah, he needs to stop doing that until he can get in. Anyway, My stuff.
There he goes again.
Frozen too. I'm trying to get to a page. So earlier, I did a thing. I went to go get a window open with the Fantasy Life SFB 14 ADP, and when I put Fantasy Life SFB 14 into the Google search bar, the first thing that popped up was our Dynasty Pulse Scott Fish mock draft video from the other day with Dixicles. And so that, and I said that to Bradley, like, that's top of the chart, baby. The number one option when you put in that search, and lots of people are searching. So this is I'm wanting this to get started. Let's go, people.
Oh, I thought you were blaming Mike.
No.
We're blaming the people.
Blaming the people.
3 more.
I sent it out to one of my chats, so hopefully someone gets it.
All right. Well, back to the advice on my team here, Biggs.
We're about to give. I don't know what happened to Mike. Okay. See now, how is he even putting himself on camera or on screen? Because I asked him to log in under the Undroppables and stream this on the Undroppables channel too.
Yeah, it didn't work. It didn't work.
I don't know how he's doing that. He's struggling.
Yeah, he's having a time over there.
Yeah, and so am I, just like trying to fill content. Like, this isn't easy, you guys. Let's fill this draft room up and get
this
the
is
party
normally
started.
Greenberg's job.
What's that?
I said it's normally Greenberg's job is the filler guy, you know?
Yeah. You mean getting people into the mock draft?
He fills all the dead zone talking.
Oh.
he's the guy, you know, the conductor here, like the engineer of the train. And so now like, shoot, what does this lever do?
Oh, and now all of my stuff is freezing because of the share screen. Hey, you guys, we're falling apart. We're
Our
absolutely
pets' heads are falling
off.
Now.
Hamsters and wheels are dying all over the continent. And yeah, so that's fun. Anyway, at least I can hear you.
Well, I'm glad about that. Oop, he's coming. He's back.
Can you hear me now?
Mike.
Am I good or no? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I can
got
talk.
one more filled. We got 2 left. We got the 2 and the 5 to go. Let's get this going.
Do it.
I'm probably going to have to jump out for a second just to see if I can restart all my stuff.
Oop, we're full.
We're full.
We're full now. Okay, I will start it.
And we're going to go.
Thank you. And we're live.
Turn this down, man. Come on.
So Schultze, you're on the 101. So is this going to mirror your exact
Bradley's
draft?
In the building. What's up, Bradley? How'd you feel about
it yet?
How'd you feel about your Fantasy Football Plus being top video on a search, buddy? You're welcome. All right, everything is frozen. We lost Greenberg. We're doing good. We're doing good.
We're back, baby. We're back.
All right. Oops,
Look at how much progress we're making here. Look at this go.
I forgot to do my thing that I was doing. Yep, but my computer's frozen anyway, so I can't. All right, I'm gonna wing it. See, and this is why we mock draft, because
this is how you win the mock.
Yeah,
you need to learn how to pivot, and I just pivoted. I pivoted because my ADP or my draft board, I can't even get into it to delete the names and stuff.
It's telling me that Shia LaBeouf is but it's not.
Shia LaBeouf chiming in the chat with "Don't do it." I don't know maybe he was talking about Dev sniping him.
Is that the real Shia LaBeouf?
You know what? It's not the real Shia LaBeouf. It is an Shia LaBeouf.
Maybe next time it'll be the real one.
You know, I just learned yesterday that actor Josh Lucas, the voice of Home Depot, is playing in the Scott Fishbowl. And when I learned that, I was watching a show that Josh Lucas is in. Like, I'm messing around on Twitter. Josh Lucas is on the screen, and then Scott tells somebody in a chat that Josh Lucas is playing in the Fishbowl. It was very, very weird. So I reached out to him to see if I could get him on the show, because that would be cool to have Home Depot guy on the show.
Home Depot.
Yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
Also, he played a really cool basketball coach. So, he knows sports.
I'm kind of curious how it feels to be like a legit actor and then be known as the Home Depot guy.
Well, it's funny because in that show, there are conversations between the Home Depot guy and the Kaiser Permanente lady. I don't know if you guys have Kaiser Permanente out there.
No, so I don't know what that means.
It's a healthcare service like an HMO, and I hear her voice. It's Allison Janney. I hear her voice all the time.
What was that movie that was?
So I can see that we are. Maybe if I can do this, I am now. My screen is completely frozen.
Yeah, let's remove it.
Greenberg is in with us. I am very, very delayed. I'm watching myself as I speak on my TV. We just lost the draft board.
No, we're good. I got the draft board up here. I got it up here. Let's get rid of this overlay here.
Well, now it's back. I'm watching the broadcast. Oh, and it's my pick. Okay.
You're
okay.
There we go.
Guys. I see you.
There we go.
Let me go ahead and do.
Schultz, you can hear me okay, hey?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's Biggs. He's on the struggle bus over there.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Maybe we bump him.
Where's my guy?
Well, now it's just us. He's having some technical difficulties, and his guy is Justin Jefferson. So now Biggs has got Lamb and Jefferson. Let's add him to the stage here. Biggs, can you hear us? You're fully out. Can you hear us? Gotta love the live, the live commotion. You want to put that back up? That's my live one. So this is straight up current there, Schultz. Are you you're close to on the board here? So now you haven't picked yet with your second pick. What are you hoping to get here on your turn at the 101 here? So this would be the 212.
Man, this is interesting. I don't know how I pass up Gibbs. That's a tough one. In my plan here, like in the actual draft, is to go Allen if I can, stack him with Kincaid, then turn around with Ingram stacked with Lawrence to do the double quarterback, double tight end stack. Which I could do that here, but it kind of depends on the positional value left, right? Here we're looking at, I mean, he obviously the quarterback run, but I mean, guys like Puka and Gibbs are great value, I think. Mm-hmm. So just for shits, I'm gonna take Gibbs here,
just to see how it plays out in case that's an option for you. Like, I mean, I've seen Jonathan Taylor slip to the second round, and I don't know, like, is that something that you would consider doing instead of Gibbs here? Like, would that be a choice for you?
Who, Jonathan Taylor there?
Yeah, over Gibbs. What's your take on that?
Probably, you know what? That's also tough because I think Taylor's going to get the carries over Gibbs. I know we like the catches normally with running backs, but with this scoring, the extra carries are going to matter over time.
Oh God, yeah, yeah. That's why it was more of a trap question for you because I knew what my answer was, and I'm heavily right into into Jonathan Taylor this year. I think he's going to have a big year. He could, flirt to that top 3 role, depending on how prolific this Colts offense can be. And I'm really high on Anthony Richardson, and I just think that Jonathan Taylor. If I'm high on Anthony Richardson, I got to be high on Jonathan Taylor. I think they're going to be a tandem. They're going to have a lot of rushing upside there, and I just love what I see there. So I see this this team here, and that is team going deep 18, and he's reaching right now in ADP for a couple of these guys, but I don't think that is an unsmart move. When you look at who he's picked, Kyler Murray, I see him going later in the first round at the turn a lot of the time, and he's a mobile quarterback outside of the top 5 guys there. Kyler Murray is being drafted as the quarterback 6, and I don't see it being a bad play here. And then you see Jonathan Taylor. I see him going in the middle of the second round. A lot of these drafts coming in, and it's only getting better. He's only steaming up. So him going ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs is not out of the question. And Biggs is back. What do you know, Biggs?
Apparently I need more bandwidth. We got a question from Ronnie. Ronnie, yeah. Hey guys, it's Ronnie. Am I supposed to be joining this stream? Sure, we'd love for you to. Go ahead and I DM'd you the studio link. Go ahead and get on there. Okay.
Going back to that team though, I love Kyler this year. I think that's the right quarterback pick. Like if you're going to take a quarterback with who is left, Kyler's the pick. Huge lean on Taylor with the pairing of AR, like you said. But Williams concerns me, especially talking about the carries thing. If he's potentially going to lose a chunk, Corum, you're losing out points on the carry bonuses too. So I don't want to draft a guy that high at running back who gives me concerns about is he going to potentially lose touches.
Yeah, I see your point. Now, what's your pick here, Schultz? You got 2 in a row. You were talking about
Evan Engram because he's not going to get him back.
And
I'm
Trevor
go
Lawrence.
Back to my plan, right there. I love that stack this year. I think Trevor's due for all the positive regression in the world. When you look at the touchdown regression, drop passes, and everything, on top of coming back from injury.
Welcome, Ronnie Evans, to the shit show.
What up? This has been quite a shit show.
It's our first show.
No, it's been great so far. I've been getting a good chuckle out of it.
Worst podcast of all time. Yeah, and I would have taken if I had. I have, you guys know my build that I'm looking for, and Engram would have been my 3rd round pick, but I'm winging it because that's.
But I'm winging it.
I'm pivoting.
Yeah, I really hope he makes it to me at 312 in my real one. I'm gonna go for it, and I'm gonna hope he lasts. But
okay, so if one of you guys can, Greenberg sharing this. Okay, so Ronnie, welcome to the show. Go ahead and say hi to everybody, and
buddy.
Yeah, there you go. Good job. And I am. We're interested to know where you drafted in the Fishbowl. What's your draft pick? Are you doing a slow draft? Are you doing a live draft? What's happening?
Let me go pull up my Fishbowl. So I'm doing a slow draft. As you know, Biggs, I'm super into the AI stuff. And so immediately joined the Terminator division when I got invited a few months ago. So I'm in that.
Sweet.
It's a slow draft, and let me pull it up actually and see where we're at. I'm in the 101 spot, so I took the 12 in this one just to like spice it up a little bit. We're still halfway through the second round. I took Jalen Hurts with my 1. And my reasoning for that, a lot of people are worried about like losing Kelsey, and they're worried about the addition of Saquon and so forth. And I think those are valid concerns, but a lot of those same people are like, well, I'm just going to take Josh Allen. And like my concerns for Josh Allen are much bigger than those for Jalen Hurts this year. The guy does not have a primary target in his offense. The offense did kind of falter a little bit throughout the back half of the year last year. And as for Hurts, just a side note, people are worried about the tush push. Jason Kelsey has been very adamant for 2 years now that he does not have anything to do with the tush push. Like it's those big boys on the left side. And they also have been training his replacement for 2 years. So it's not going to help to lose a Hall of Famer, but I'm really not worried about the Kelsey loss. And I don't think that Saquon is also going to take away from as many of the red zone opportunities from Hurts as people are expecting, because it's never been Saquon's game. Like he's an outside runner. He's a space runner. He's not a 2-4 yards in a cloud of dust type guy. And I think that's going to continue here. So big on Jalen Hurts, especially with the rushing prop. And I think really like in this, in the mock, I see my boy Sam. Oh my God, I'm on the clock. Michael Pittman. All right.
I could pause it.
No, you're good. I had no idea I was on the clock. I need to take wide receivers anyway. I'll be quiet for a second. And that's my take to finish that up is basically with this setup. I really like it's okay to take CMC in the top half, but really you kind of don't want to leave the first round. If you can get out of it with one of those top 5 or 6 quarterbacks that have legs, do that. Like, don't overthink it. That you kind of got to in this scoring. All right.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed in the last mock that we did, I tried to go like running back super heavy to get it started, and I really liked it, but I wound up seeing tight end and quarterback way too late, and the guys the tiers that I wanted to pick from were just gone by like round 10, 11. So I'm changing it up in this one. I'm losing everybody in my queue. So that's fun. But so that tells me that that I need to start. I'm good. CeeDee Lamb he's my target at 107. But if Justin Jefferson is there in the second round, I'm smashing that every fucking day. Same with Mark Andrews in the third. So
if this was a real draft, I probably wouldn't have taken Bijan, especially in this kind of setup. There's going to be like 35 viable running backs by the end of the year that all have borderline RB1 weeks or have RB1 weeks. They're all going to play. But if there's like 3 running backs this year that I think legitimately could challenge CMC, for the one part of that has to do with CMC's age and so forth. But Bijan's one of them. Bijan, Saquon, Brees, like all three of those guys.
Jonathan Taylor, you have to put him in that conversation too, in my opinion.
I worry about him and catching the ball a little bit to get up as like the one in fantasy this year, but
he's not 2 years removed from the overall fantasy one where he was averaging like 27 points per game. That's not out of his, like he's hit it before, so it's not out of the realm of opportunity coming off of like him being a little bit more rested now, coming off that injury from the year before, and in a more prolific offense where I've got a lot of stock. And if you're an Anthony Richardson truther, you should be a Jonathan Taylor truther as well, because they go hand in hand. I think they're both going to see a lot of red zone opportunities. I think that offense is going to score a lot of points in a division that's going to score a lot of points. I love the upside, and judging by even this draft here, Jonathan Taylor goes as the 4th running back off the board over Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm all for that one too.
I'll let him have him. And we had Jack checking in with we had Jack checking in with Andrews isn't getting past me in the second. Well, Jack, luckily for me, I'm in the San Francisco draft, not the New York draft. And Dev is a JT lifer. So thanks for that.
Now, Ronnie, I heard through the grapevine you've organized some sort of fantasy football expo chat room that some of us that
Oh,
are
yeah.
going to the expo need to be a part of, like Biggs and I. So hoping that you can extend that so that we can maybe hook up a ride here and there if we need to, all the kind of stuff that resource provides for the folks.
Yeah. Let me clarify. I did not create that check. Nate Polvok created it a couple years
Okay.
ago. But yeah, just been I don't ever leave those like industry chats after the event's over. So I've just been sitting in there. Yeah, we got like 60 people added in there yesterday. It was great. I'll add you.
Tank,
guys
I'm still waiting for
after
your
my next
reply. I told you you could come on. Waiting for you to get in here. Let's go. Okay,
the Optimist does a mock draft at this exact same time each week.
Oh,
They asked me to actually come on theirs.
Maybe tomorrow then.
Yeah. I was on theirs last week. Like I mocked them anyway. That was good.
Yeah, it's a good crew over there.
Yeah, they're fun.
So I'm looking at this board like right now, just to be narcissistic and talk about my team. So Dak was the quarterback 3 or 4 last year in the scoring. And everyone's really caught up on rushing, but Dak Prescott should throw the ball more this year, and he does run for about 400 yards a year. I think he very well could be a top 5 quarterback again this year, and there really isn't anything on paper that says he should do worse than he did last year. Everything indicates for fantasy he should actually be better. So he's like the only non-rushing quarterback that I'm keen on in this scoring format. Like a guy like Joe Burrow, I'm terrified of him this year. I've been terrified of him for the last year and a half because of the injury and some insight I got from some people on it. I played poker with a bunch of physical therapists, and they were all very much like, yo, that's really bad. And then I've seen...
You heard it here first, folks. From the poker guys.
Yeah, seriously. It was good insight, though, because over the last 8 months,
really,
like, some things have come out that have been like, yo, Joe Burrow might actually be in trouble.
I wanted to throw this up there real quick. Red light, Ronnie. That's for you.
Oh, shit. I keep talking and forgetting. Let's go. It's easy. I knew I wanted to take it there anyway.
So is Red Light Ronnie, like, is that a legit nickname?
Red Light Ronnie Red Lights is a nickname that Trash Sandwiches. Shout out to Ariel. She's fantastic. Last year at the Expo, I was giving people rides, and there's an intersection at Canton that, like, in the morning, the sun shines right behind the red lights, and I ran the red lights at that intersection twice with the car. So she calls me Ronnie Red Lights now.
That is a fantastic nickname story.
Thank you. I'm looking. I don't think I want to take a second quarterback just yet. Let's dip back into the... Let's get funky here. Go with some youth. Little Brock baby. Boy's probably going to carry the ball 20 times this year. I'll take those extra 0.25 points.
My guy. He's eating my pizza.
Brock Bowers. All right.
So here's a question I've got. I doubled up a receiver at 5'12", 6'1". Is it crazy to take Pickens at 6'1"?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I'm kind of thinking about it, like mapping out, my real draft plan, and I feel like I kind of like Pickens at the top of 6 there to make sure I get him, because I don't think I'll get him at 7'12". Obviously not with you guys, but
I'd be fully happy going into this, Scott Fishbowl as George Pickens being my number 1 wide receiver. No worries. Like I just with like the way the scoring set up, like I'd be fine with that. Like I'd if you look at my build right now, I'm more running back centric, and I'm surprised that Breece Hall like lasted that long. I saw him go as the 106 today in my draft in a league that's pretty savvy. There's some pretty big names in the division that I'm in, and seeing all these it was pretty dried up when it got to me, but the only slide that happened was Mahomes, and I want to get your guys' opinion on that. At 111, Patrick Mahomes sliding to that point. Is that an automatic smash for you guys?
I think so.
Yeah.
Unless Kyler's on the board. I would take Kyler over Mahomes in this scoring.
Oh yeah, Kyler was on the board, and he would have been my other pick if Mahomes wasn't there. Yeah. So
Who's
you
got a better situation around him this year, Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen?
Oh, Patrick Mahomes has got a better situation around him. 100%.
Yeah. I don't know why he wouldn't be a smash then. He doesn't run as much as Allen, but he puts up plenty of points.
So just to answer your question from earlier, Schultz, right now in real life, Pickens is going at 78, ADP 78. So
is that the current one off that site that I showed you, Biggs?
What?
No, that's at Fantasy Life.
Okay.
No, I can't afford $40 to do the pretty color one that you sent.
It wasn't $40. It wasn't $40. It was free. And never one thing, pay for a service for a charity organization, especially if they're making money off of it. That is not cool. People that are doing this as a content to help people out, throughout the draft. But if you're like charging like a draft guide for something that is charity driven, I'm not for that. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I agree with you. If you're going to do like your rankings and for Scott Fishbowl scoring and put him out there, don't charge people for it unless you're going to like charge a donation to Fantasy Cares, and shout out Fantasy Cares. Everybody should be donating.
Absolutely.
To that. But what I didn't mean that I didn't have $40. Their ADP tool is there and it's free. What I was talking about was like being able to link the league and create the profile that does more than just look at that.
Oh, no. The thing that I do is just you can actually put your league in there and it just tells you what is the most recent ADP and which guys hasn't gone within that. And it's current. You don't pay a cent.
Oh, well, ask me for money.
Yeah. Well, I'll show you how to use it for free.
That's because your IP address screams rich bitch.
Oh.
Yep. That's true. That's the straight dope.
This guy's connections from an igloo up in Canada. I'm not sure. I think we can sweat his ADP fees. He's not winning shit from up there.
Okay.
This guy's accessing our website from a hut.
You say a hut?
Yeah, a hut.
You probably didn't know this unless you are like really, really like clued into linguistics, but my last name Booth was given to the people that lived in the huts, so it fits. Thank you, I appreciate it.
I call you Big Hut from now on.
Biggs of the Hut.
Biggs of the Hut.
Okay, and damn. All right, you guys. All right, I'm gonna have to keep doing these because it's hard.
EJ,
who took Najee? Son of a bitch.
That one person.
Well, I know who I'm drafting.
That's good.
So Ronnie, did you
Devil 134?
Are you on the 112 spot, like in your league already?
I'm at the 101.
Okay.
My plan with I wanted to be in the 101, just I hadn't done that yet in Scott Fishbowl. But my plan has been like initially I was like I'm taking the 101 and I'm going Allen Kincaid and I'm good and I still would be good with that. But I've really warmed up to the idea of Dak Prescott at the turn. Because a month and a half ago, his ADP was like at the turn at the second round. And I was like, and then week 17 is Eagles Cowboys. And I was just thinking to myself, how sweet would it be to get two top 4 quarterbacks in their biggest game of the year during the championship week at Scott Fishbowl. And then freaking Dak just went at the 204. And so my plans are ruined. I'll probably have to take Kincaid or some schmuck.
Well, I'm kind of banking on Dak falling to the 208, and I need it. I need it in my veins. I need that CD Dak stack to start.
You know what? That makes me feel good about my Allen.
Who took Raheem Mostert? Damn it!
Who was that?
Shia
LaBeouf, not the real Shia LaBeouf.
He plays one on TV.
Frequent mocker with us and former mock draft MVP. He won the
I
mock.
already had Mike Evans, or else I would have had Godwin. Love Godwin.
I really wanted Mostert. I'm mad.
And that's a round earlier than his ADP. Interesting.
One of the things I've loved doing in a couple leagues that I've drafted and not Scott Fishbowl is I love drafting on the turn in general, but I have been gobbling up Mostert and Jalen Wright at the turn in like the 7th or 8th round of most of my drafts.
Well, Shia is he's very apologetic, Ronnie. His bad. He's sorry.
Yeah, you're damn right you are.
Okay.
Had to settle for DeAndre Swift. I don't even want him on my team. I don't like that pick at all. Well, we should probably take a second quarterback here at this point. But if you look at like the last few years scoring with this setup, it's not dissimilar to most setups, but particularly in this one, like you get out of those top 4 or 5 guys, and the next 16 are all the same. And so I'm just as happy to get someone like Bryce Young, who I expect to bounce back in a heavy way this year, like in around 12, as I would be to get, I don't know.
Well,
like
you're going to have to get him, from what I've seen, you're going to have to get him in around 9, 10, 11.
Where, to put things into perspective, as far as like the quarterback goes, last year I finished in the top 275, and I had Patrick Mahomes and Anthony Richardson as my top 2 quarterbacks. So how did I maintain that? Well, I had Brock Purdy as a late round guy, and he pretty much catapulted my team. I didn't even like Mahomes was almost we're not even flex worthy in a lot of weeks, right? So it was actually Brock Purdy that helped my team, and actually some Sam Howell in the initial stages of the year. So if you can hit on a guy like that, you don't need to have that second quarterback just yet. And a lot of people, unless you can get like a tandem of like Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson, like which I've seen happen, I wouldn't be trying to dig deep on that second quarterback, because once you get into that middle round, they're all kind of very similar in what kind of production you're getting out of them. They're not going to be difference makers. Whereas, you know what I mean? Like a guy like Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson, you stack those 2 guys. Well, those 2 guys are going to be difference makers with their legs on the ground.
Yeah, I agree completely. And it's really at that point, you're looking at value in your lineup, points in your lineup. And like, yeah, if you're picking at the 1-7 or like the 104 and you get a quarterback at the start, and then you're looking at the 208 and Dak's gone and Kyler's gone, you don't need to, don't take a quarterback. Just hunt that position and wait, because you then will have the opportunity to take someone like theoretically even like a Bijan, and the point difference between the
Justin freaking Jefferson
or Justin Jefferson, and the difference in your lineup between that guy and like the next wide receiver you'd get in 2 rounds versus the quarterback there versus the quarterback in 2 rounds is astronomically different. The better play is definitely skill position after you get out of this top crop. I just said a lot of words to say basically that last sentence.
We appreciated it. Actually, it was we all followed along. It was very, very thought out. We thought it was good, Ronnie. A+ on that one.
Yeah, Mom. Yeah, I did it. Thanks.
All right. So now we're at a point where these return kickers are starting to come off the board. Now we've got Rashid Shaheed, who is the consensus number 1 guy. Yeah. What are your like guys, the uncut gems, if you will? Xavier Gibson is getting some steam right now, but who are some of these guys? I've heard talks last week that like Roma Dunze is returning punts. Is that something that you're taking as smoke, or is that actually fire?
You heard it here first.
Yeah, my take on all of that is maybe, like, definitely take some shots in your drafts in the second half of your draft. But my expectation is that like waivers are going to be fucking crucial this year in Scott Fishbowl, because nobody really knows yet what's going to happen with kick returns. But that said, I'm taking a lot of Greg Dortch right now because he's free, and he is right now the favorite to be both punt and kick return over there. Khalil Shakir still seems to be that dude in Buffalo, so he's another really interesting one. Shaheed is like, obviously everyone's talked about him at this point. Marvin Mims is another interesting one. Gibson is real. I love Xavier Gibson. I'm annoyed actually that he's gotten into that conversation over the last month because my little personal crew of people have been talking about him for a few months. Credit to them, not me. But yeah, I think the move here is like if you got one of those guys like Shaheed, you're gonna have to draft earlier than his typical ADP would be, and he's probably a good play. But
the thing that Mike has to keep in mind is that he's got an owner in his league who has pictures of herself with 3 Shaheed jerseys behind her. I'm talking,
Cooter?
of course, about Cooter Doodle. Yeah. So I was looking at his draft board today, looking at what round he's going to need to target Shaheed before it's going to get back to Cooter Doodle, because then if he doesn't, then she'll have 2 picks with which she can do that. And
I would have taken Shaheed at my last pick. I didn't realize he was still there because I was panicking and talking. But I would rather have him than DeAndre Swift in this scoring for sure.
Yeah, unless he's not returning kicks this year.
Yeah, he'll return something for them. He probably won't be doing full time like last year. I think people are going to be disappointed in that.
I have a feeling that we're going to see physical build and speed be the kick return prototype from now on. Rather than like somebody who's smaller and more agile, I think we're going to see guys that are a little bit bigger and fast.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I'm excited here. I just racked up 5 wide receiver ones on their respective teams and potentially all high flying offenses. So I don't mind that when you kind of punt the top tier guys there. What are your guys' thoughts on? I know Biggs' thoughts on Curtis Samuel, but Ronnie, what do you think on that outtake in Buffalo? You've got Josh Allen as a consensus number 1 overall quarterback in a lot of leagues right now. How is he going to produce? Is it going to be that 15 touchdown rushing upside, or is a guy like Curtis Samuel going to emerge as the top target there?
I don't know about Curtis Samuel. I don't hate it. I would expect it to be a bit similar to the Chiefs last year, where you don't really have a specific standout wide receiver by name there, because the wide receiver 1 in Buffalo is Dalton Kincaid. And then actually I was talking to somebody on the phone last night about this, but not to turn it into a Dalton Kincaid discussion, but I name another tight end in the league that is the undisputed 1 on their team. It's not even really Kelsey anymore. But Kelsey would be the only other one. It's Kincaid. He has the best situation of any tight end in football this year. And I think his ADP is too low. Like he's going to be nuclear this year because they don't have an option for him not to be, because they're not going to be able to go out there and give Curtis Samuel 1,400 yards. They're not going to go take rookie Keon Coleman with all of his rawness and give him 1,400 yards. And if Allen's going to be the quarterback 1, there's got it. Someone on that team is going to go nuclear. And I don't really see how it's anyone except for Kincaid.
Here's my devil's advocate to that, because I was thinking of that. Like I was telling maybe even Biggs as of last week that I was really coming around on Kincaid, but I got a devil's advocate view on that. And here's why. The Buffalo Bills, especially in the latter half of last year, went a lot more run centric. And yes, they used Kincaid there because, Stephon Diggs was fading big time. They started spraying the ball out quite a bit more. And then Dawson Knox got injured. And now Dawson Knox is back. They were playing a lot of 2 tight end sets quite a bit there. And they could be running the ball a little bit. And I think that could cap the amount of targets he could get. And to be that tight end overall 1, I get what you're saying with the opportunity of being the number 1 target there. So there is that looming over, but I just wanted to play that devil's advocate because we can't discount Dawson Knox, the upside there, the touchdowns that he could get in the red zone because he is that target for them there. That is something that I just wanted to kind of point out as far as the Kincaid steam that's happening right now.
I don't really necessarily disagree with that. Really, my move in general is I'm just not touching Josh Allen in fantasy this year. There's too many red flags. I know he's been the guy for 4 straight years, but the situation is different than it has been during that time. It's no coincidence that you get Stephon Diggs, He has a true wide receiver one that can stretch the field and do a bit of everything, and all of a sudden he's the quarterback one for 4 straight years. Now that's gone. And objectively speaking, I think he's got his worst set of targets that he's had in potentially the last 4 years this year.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Mahomes 2 years ago situation where you kind of didn't really know where these guys were gonna kind of land and what the situation was going to be in. And another guy that I'm in the same boat on, and that's Jalen Hurts, and a lot of people have him as well in that top range. And I saw some regression last year in his passing percentage. Is his rushing upside with them bringing in Saquon Barkley? Is his red zone opportunities going to diminish? With Jason Kelce moving along as well, is that tush push going to be as effective in the red zone? There's a lot of variables in the top 3 quarterbacks now, and I want to get your take on Jalen Hurts and where you see his season going. Do you see him, repeating as a top 3 quarterback? Is it just set it and forget it for you?
Yeah, I'm not worried about any of that. I'm all in. He's my quarterback one this year.
Okay.
I think that really, like, when I'm evaluating quarterbacks for fantasy, the first thing I do is not actually look at the quarterback. I look at the situation around them, and that's like checkbox number 1. And then I want to go in and look at how they're going to actually score their points and how that translates to fantasy. Then look at the team composition, the offensive line, and kind of break it all down like that. He's like one of the only guys in the league. Argue he might be the only quarterback this year that checks every box. And he did it last year. He didn't play much of the final week of the season, only scored 40 points less than Allen. You have to imagine if he didn't miss basically the game and a half he did last year, he would have been right there with Allen. I'm not worried about Kelce leaving. I think that it doesn't help to lose a Hall of Fame center for sure. But they've had a guy that they really like. They drafted relatively highly for 2 years that Kelce has been training and given green lights for. Same with what we heard from the staff of the last year and a half. So I think that Kelce leaving is actually not going to hurt them as much as people expect. And I do not have any reservations about the tush push. Really, the only thing that I'm concerned about is kind of the same thing I'm concerned about with Allen, which is like, well, you're paying these guys a lot of money. Do you really want to use them that way if you don't have to? And I think that the Eagles don't have to use Hurts for the tush push like they did last year. But all that said, I don't know, man. I think his situation is better than it was last year. I mean, we might lose 20 or 30 points to some variety into how they're scoring and how they're running the offense. But you also left out Kellen Moore coming to town and what that's going to do to like revamp their passing offense and so on and so forth. So I'm on the clock, but that's my take on Jalen Hurts. I'm all in.
I don't know. Actually, Kellen Moore might be weighed down by all those rings he won in Dallas and with the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't think Kellen Moore coming in there is actually a good thing for Jalen Hurts. I think it's actually a detriment. I saw what he did with Dak Prescott. He had some of his worst performing seasons. I saw what he did with Justin Herbert last year. I'm not sold on that. I think Shane Steichen leaving the Eagles has got a huge downfall. With Josh Allen, maybe he does come in that conversation as the quarterback one for me too. But you bring good light in there with your opposition of Josh Allen, and it's making me think a little bit more on that stance.
I mean, the guy that it's popped up over the last 2 weeks on social media, but the guy for me, and it has been for months now, is Anthony Richardson. If he could just stay healthy, but that is such a big if, because it hasn't been true going back to his sophomore year of high school. He just doesn't stay healthy. And so, but if he does, well, that's the one. That's the number 1 player in fantasy football this year.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, I'm 100% on board with that one. There's the upside. There's the team around him too, and what they've done. I don't think Adonai Mitchell is the guy that's going to earn a bunch of targets, but I think he does that. He adds that deep threat, that contested catch threat that they didn't have. He's a step up from Alec Pierce. Pittman's still going to command his targets, and Josh Downs is going to be a safety blanket. And we know that I'm high on Jonathan Taylor. So Anthony Richardson, if he could stay upright, man, can he be a difference maker? And I think he definitely be the overall number 1 dynasty asset in next year's draft, I'd say.
Yeah, you want to scroll that draft board Greenberg.
You bet.
The other guy too that like this year, if it doesn't work out, then well, I think we're all fucked and we should quit analyzing fantasy sports. But Caleb Williams is like he's gonna be good for fantasy. It's like there isn't a scenario where he's not gonna be good. Is he gonna be elite? Is he gonna do what CJ Stroud did last year? Maybe not. But he could, he should, theoretically speaking, with everything is true about him. But that's a dude that like in redraft right now, screaming value. If you're somebody that likes to punt quarterbacks and play upside and draft the rest of your team first, like Caleb Williams is a fantastic choice.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a LeBron James situation. The hype is definitely going to have to be matched by the performance on the field. Yeah. And if there's anybody who is in a position to fail, it's Caleb Williams. But if everything that everybody has said over the last 3 years is true, he's going to be huge. And
well, what's funny is that if you took any other rookie and put him in his situation, I'd be like, they're probably going to work out. Like, he's not only like the most hyped rookie quarterback we've had since Andrew Luck, he also is going into literally the best situation for a rookie quarterback that I've ever seen before. And so you put those two things together, and it just seems like it would be absolutely shocking if it didn't pan out.
He's got 12 sets of hands getting ready to catch balls that he's throwing.
Yeah. But if there's one franchise that could ruin a starting quarterback, it just might be the Chicago Bears, right? I mean, outside of maybe the Cleveland Browns, I don't know. But there's that outlier. But I agree. Like he's got all the weapons surrounded, and like Big said, 12 hands important there.
Hey, what are you doing over there, Schultz?
I'm just chilling.
Yeah. You're off.
Oh, while it's coming back to me, let me add you guys to this Expo chat.
Yeah, do it. That'd be awesome. We're Biggs and I are headed down there on the Thursday, and we're there all weekend, so we're gonna have a blast. We got the poker tournament set up. We're doing the IBT draft night out, and then a bunch of stuff lined up for various different platforms and stuff like that. So it'll be awesome.
We are representing Fantasy Football Plus. We are representing the Undroppables. We are representing Player Profiler. And we are representing Fantasy Football Advice Network, lead sponsor of the Fantasy Football Expo. We will have swag. We will be dressed out in uniform. Like Greenberg said, we're gonna be playing poker. We're gonna be doing draft night out. I'm in the Zach Moss League. There still should be openings. We're going to be giving out FFAN jersey leagues. I have Josh Allen in an IDP league. I'm working on maybe trying to get a Devontae Adams jersey and Deebo Samuel. I'm going to try and fill that league as well. So you guys can all play, sign up for FFAN Pro and sign up with us and win one of those jerseys. Plus we'll do listener leagues. We're going to be doing listener leagues for the Dynasty Pulse and the Undroppables on our Uncovered series and everywhere. So reach out at the Expo.
It's a bummer is I don't want to get up because I'm all plugged in and I have like 15 cords on my computer right now. But I have the DeAndre Swift jersey in my bedroom from the Swift League last year. And
nice.
Just get a brag. I went undefeated last year in the Swift Leagues until the final week of the season, and Chuck Bass beat me, but then I beat him in the championship. So 15-1. But I think in that Advice Network leagues, actually, I don't think, I know for a fact that I was not only the number one scorer out of all of the leagues last year, but by a pretty large margin. That team was like one of the best teams I've ever drafted. So nice. I'll be doing those again, and I'm hoping I can get somewhere close to what I did last year. No illusion or delusion about repeating that performance because it's not how fantasy works. You get one of those every 5 years.
Right. Or you just run away with it.
Yeah, that's definitely the case.
Right, so I'm on the clock, and I
was pretty upset about the Hunter Henry going 2 picks before I wanted to take him. And we're gonna have Andrew Cooper on the show in the morning, 10 a.m. So Pacific time. Nice. So everybody who's watching now, watch again. and it will be a tight end heavy stream. And we're going to talk to him about some things. And everybody knows at Koopa Fiasco, he has his yin and yang tight end system. And basically you want to take a top 5 tight end. At this point, I'm looking at Mark Andrews. You also want to get somebody else. I'm going bully tight end in this fishbowl. So I grabbed Hawkinson, who's going to come on at the end of the year. And then I wanted to use the yin yang concept, which is 90 targets or 10 touchdowns. And Hunter Henry is he may be a guy who could be in line for a lot of target share. And I think that he's going to have a big year. He's one of Andrew Cooper's favorite sleepers and Yang tight end. So we'll talk about that more tomorrow.
Tell Andrew I said hello. I was just texting with him like 3 days ago. I'm bringing back the Judgment Seesaw Bigs probably next month.
Okay.
Weekly, and he'll be the first guest.
Nice. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about that and where they can find all the mental health month videos?
Yeah, sure. The easiest ways actually right now is to go to my Twitter profile. It's at Ronnie Evans. Just click on the highlights, and I have all of them on there. But I'm a big proponent of mental health advocacy and awareness. And during the month of May, I did 30 interviews with 30 Days. Biggs did one of them with me. And had people from around the industry ranging from like super massive worldwide names like Biggs to like smaller like Bob Harris and so forth. And so it went really well. And then I'm bringing that back in the next month, and I'm going to do not weekly on a schedule, but I'll try to do 1 week of individual Judgment Seesaw episodes. And then we're doing a new format called group therapy. We're going to go and like we can get you guys on, but have like the crew from different brands hop on and have a group discussion on industry hygiene and like upkeep and learning how to communicate better. And then along with all of that is all of the AI content for Good Guy AI is getting ready to kick off. I'm doing a lot of like demos and product showcases on the YouTube channel. And then next week I'm launching the Good Guy AI Substack, where each week you'll get an email with like an article that summarizes everything that's happened in the world of AI, how it relates back to the fantasy sports industry, what you do in fantasy sports, so on and so forth. And then also as people in our field release AI products like Chalk did with the bot, put them in the newsletter and do a showcase that week. It's like, hey, here's the Chalk bot, blah, 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 so on and so forth. Run it that way.
Well, if you want to know why my head is so fucked up, go over and watch the video the interview that I did with Ronnie. It's I got to tell.
We had a good time, man. It was a lot of laughing, some emotions too. It was a really fun project. I was really humbled and thankful for everyone that was willing to hop on.
How did you feel at the end of the month?
Dude, I felt really depressed, honestly. Like I got done with it. So shocker was like, well, that's over. And now there's a void in my life. And I just got really, really sad for about a week. So I'm excited to kick it back up. I felt really accomplished though, to answer your actual question. Felt great. Yeah.
And tired.
Yeah. It just felt kind of like when you're a kid growing up and you go home after the last day of school and you're like, this is awesome. It's summer, but also I'm not going to see my friends for 3 months. Sort of how I felt there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's hard to keep up when you start like getting so many guests on, you kind of lose track of when was the last time I talked to this person, and now I need to like go reach out again, and you get in the weeds a little bit. So we had Harrison Butker as the first kicker off the board. What does the ADP at Fantasy Life say about kickers right now?
I don't know. I just took the kick returner and punt returner for the Patriots and the Cardinals, though, so I'm feeling good.
You got your Dort share.
I got Dort, and apparently Jalen Polk's that dude right now. This is the murmurs coming out of New England, so he's an interesting one to look at for Scott Fishbowl.
And I'm hearing Josh Downs has taken some kick returns as well, so something to monitor.
Side note I'm sorry I interrupted you. You got me really excited. Yes, monitor Josh Downs. Side note for anyone that like Adonai Mitchell this, Adonai Mitchell fucking whatever. Yeah. Go look at Josh Downs' splits last year. Like when Pittman was even on the field, he's better for fantasy than Pittman was. Like he's incredible. very good football player. He's going to be relevant in fantasy this year. And if he happens to return kicks and punts for them, he might be the Rashid Shaheed in Scott Fishbowl this year, because he's going to score probably 600 to 800 yards receiving anyway.
Well, I think he's going to be a safety blanket. You know, when A-Rich is going to be having that read option, and if it collapses, who's going to be right there? Because who's a great separator, and that's Josh Downs. He's very good in the slot. He was a very good second read option. You know, Pittman's going to be the number one read, and that's no doubt. But the safety blanket is going to be Josh Downs, and he's an underrated receiver. I love him. He's a very, very good separator.
Yeah, I would have loved to get him, but that's okay.
Looking at the real-time live or the Fishbowl current ADPs, we've got Tucker at 150, ADP 150, Brandon Aubrey at 157, Harrison Butker at 174, Evan McPherson at 177. So we're looking like pretty well into the 13th round for the kickers to start coming off the board. So where are we at?
Hey, who just took Schultz?
So that was pretty late
there with Roman Wilson.
Yeah.
Hey, you know, I was looking, it's like, this is the dude who's going to be the number 2 receiver on his team in round
Here's a
18.
guy.
Like, what are we doing?
Not necessarily. They're saying that Kelvin Austin might have that role right off the hop as the second year guy. They're similar in the way they play. There's that talk. I know that, you know, Roman Wilson has gotten that steam, but just be careful and double check the preseason and who actually is going to win that role.
I have a feeling
even
that
then, round 18.
Round 18 is fine. And I would, my total bias here as a Roman Wilson truther, I'm not worried about it. He's going to play. He was actually in rookie rankings, he was my wide receiver 6.
I had him up there. I thought I was bullish on him, and I had him as my wide receiver 8 in this draft. You know, after landing spots and stuff like that, I think Troy Franklin went down quite a bit because of that. But I'm really high. Like he's got a really good profile, very similar to Ladd McConkey, and I'm very high on Ladd McConkey as well. And I love Pittsburgh's offense. I'm a huge George Pickens fan now, converted fan, thanks to Biggs. I like Roman Wilson. I just wanted people to be aware of Calvin Austin because he's actually getting some steam right now too. So be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Agreed. What's the news on Keaton Mitchell? I'm staring at his name right now. Have you guys heard anything about him?
He's hasn't come back. He might be slow to return, and Rasheen Ali is also gaining some steam. Biggs, you had something to say probably there too.
Oh, no, I was just going to say he's not going to be ready for the season. But if he can come back and be a full 100%, watch out.
Yeah,
he's got some talent in those feet.
Yeah, well, if he's healthy, I don't know why you wouldn't play him at kick returner, which is always in the back of our minds here in Scott Fishbowl. Oh, fuck it.
What'd you do?
I auto draft.
There you
go. Let's go.
Look at that. Meant to be.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Did you auto draft?
I did. I couldn't decide. It's all right. I'm not very good at talking and drafting at the same time. Usually when I draft, I put my phone on do not disturb and I lock in.
Is your Scott Fish draft in a sleeper league or MFL?
Sleeper league. It's been pretty stock so far.
God damn it. Seriously?
Labe, Dylan Labe.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Traylon Burks, he did it again.
I am going to do it every time. Let's see if it's
Oh God, we have to have a clip on that. Anytime he drafts Traylon Burks, we have to have a clip.
Just a montage of him being like, I'm gonna do it.
Well, as Wendy said, she can't bring herself to drafting Treylon Burks, and I said I can't not draft Treylon Burks.
You like that goofy meme where he's
Yeah.
like, "I'll fucking do it again."
Yeah.
Yes,
maybe
the goofy one.
maybe we play the clip of him falling over on his chair every single time he drafts Treylon Burks, like right after. I think that'll be perfect.
No. All right.
Elijah
Really?
Mitchell. So, what do you guys think of Puka this year?
Biggs, what do you think of Puka?
I think he has every opportunity to be a top 12 wide receiver, but I wouldn't count on him being in the top 5. Not with Cup healthy. His target share went down by like 33% when Cup was on the field, which, I mean, that normally wouldn't be a bad thing, but his target share in the first 4 weeks of the season was unsustainable. And so, yeah, I mean, I like taking him as, you know, like in the second and third round if he falls to me, but I wouldn't take him in the first.
It's fair. I wouldn't take him in the first either. I'm very bullish on Puka. I love me some Puka.
Everybody does, you know. I mean, that's you can't do what he did last year and not get the love from everybody.
Dude, I do stamps. It's like the only thing I've done consistently in the space for the last 4 years is I do stamps on rookies from wide receiver, quarterback, and tight end, or wide receiver, running back, and tight end every year around like March-ish. And my stamps last year were Puka, Devin A-Chain, and Kincaid. And I just was like, well, I should just stop doing this exercise because I'm never gonna live up to that again. I auto drafted Dolchik. Sorry, I was talking. Anyway, just a side note. I have such an affinity for Puka because usually like that stamp for me, I try to get guys that are outside of the radar of everyone. So it was like Sky Moore a couple of years ago. So Sky Moore didn't work out. Puka, Devin A-Chain works out better than it ever will again.
Yeah,
I should just retire that exercise.
Yeah, I mean, we had a guy in one of my leagues that he had Puka, which he took in our rookie draft. I had him pegged in the 5th round, and Dave went a couple picks before me and took Puka.
Ooh.
And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "He's on the Rams," because Dave is a Rams fan. And I said,
"That's the worst."
I was like, "Where did he go to school?" And he goes, "I don't know." I said, "He went to BYU. Have you ever heard his name before?" He said, "No, it just said LAR next to his name." And I was like, "You." And he also had H-N. And he also had Kyron Williams, who I tried to like pry out of his hands 2 years ago, but he's known in our league as the trade Nazi. He will not trade with anybody. And so, yeah, so good luck to you, Dave.
Fuck you, Dave. That's what
Thanks.
I say. I'll take it.
He's too nice a guy for me to say that. I'll say
Damn
good
it,
luck
Dave.
to you. It means the same thing, but
yeah, it's a southern U.S. good luck to you. Bless your heart, Dave.
Bless your heart. All right. Okay. My big target is still there. Let's see what happens.
So if you want my smashes this year it feels like this was much more interesting in March than it is now because Ben Sinnott, obviously he's climbed up. He's everyone's 2. But Ben Sinnott, Jalen Wright, and Roman Wilson were my 3 this year.
Okay.
And I switched over to Ben Sinnott from Jatavian Sanders. And one day I'm going to tweet this out before the season starts. I might just flip it back over to Jatavian because he seems less loved by the community.
Boop.
So 50-50. They're either going to be Sky Moore or Puka. Is one of the 2. We'll see.
Yeah, I have Lad tabbed as this year's Puka.
Oh yeah, Lad's great.
Hashtag Dads for Lad.
I would have, but I can't. My rule is I can't pick guys that everyone else is in on, and like Lad, everyone was in on like going back to March. It was like Lad McConkey this, Lad McConkey that. So
I don't know. I started getting some pushback lately, and
well, it's the pendulum has swung a little bit.
Yeah.
Like if you tried to pick up Lad and Dynasty in March, it was probably harder, or in April, it was probably harder than it is right now.
yeah, I had to take him in the first round in a few drafts, like the 108.
Yeah,
All right, and we're done.
and auto drafted my final pick for me because I get a C plus. Let me grade myself.
Well, we like to give out MVP, who won the draft, and it can't be one of us. So if we want to look through this, and I really like the 102 start. CMC, Trey McBride, Kyle Pitts, George Kittle.
There's the top.
I don't like his quarterbacks, wide receivers, or running backs, but I love his start. Gator Raider, who Gator J is over in another. He had a draft, a mock starting at 7, so he went on auto and dipped. I like his start a lot, except for he went for the aged running backs. Jack Straw from Wichita, live New York draft. That's not looking too bad. That's a lot of really good value. I like that a lot.
I kind of like Sun Devils, the one that
I was just about to say I really like Sun Devils, but I would have taken Love over Stroud.
Angie is over in Gator J's other draft. New to the undroppables, hopefully, Gator J. She went Mahomes and Kelsey stack. All right. I know one person who has that already in their real life draft.
Ooh, I do like that team a lot.
Marvin, Olave, Kamara, Kirk, Bake Show. Yeah, she could have gone a little bit different direction with her running
backs. Yeah.
But it's still pretty good. And Sun Devils did okay. A lot of late round tight end value. I'm not huge on Chig. I have Mark Andrews, so if something happens to him, likely to hit. And all right, then there's me.
Speaking of late tight ends, I saw you snag Jelani Woods. I love him.
I mean, a guy that runs a 4.5 and is 6'7".
Just like massive athletic freak who's gonna get at least some chance.
Then we got Dev checking in with Jamar off the bat, Burrow, Saquon, and then bang, 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 got out of the gate with some serious wide receivers. Levis, counting on Justin Fields, some good late round value. Took Bellinger before I got a chance. Shia with Tyreek, Sam Laporta. Those are, I mean, when you have two of the top scorers from 2023 in the SFB 14 format, that doesn't hurt. Wilson, I like Goff. Tua, not a fan of Mixon. Montgomery might have some touchdown potential. Mostert, Shaheed, Addison. Except for Laporta, that's kind of an anchor tight end approach. And then that's the rest of us. So I'm gonna give mine to who was it?
I know who I want. Who do you got, Ronnie?
Jack Straw, I think.
Jack Straw.
I'm gonna go with Sun Devil. I really think the Najee pick is super valuable in this scoring format. And he's got Warren to handcuff, which is great. I don't love Brooks or Pollard this year the way a lot of people do, but fuck it, you only have to start one. So right now, his starting lineup, he doesn't have to worry about those other players. He can start 5 wide receivers, theoretically speaking, second tight end if he wants to. Like, I think it's a good team.
Yeah, Kavonte Turpin with that returning upside. Yeah, I like it. It's just his tight ends, other than Komet, just kind of, yeah. Okay,
This
how about
is
you guys?
this is a
I,
trap
I
question. Okay, go ahead, Greenberg.
I really don't mind this going deep to be outside of the box here because Kyler Murray. I talked about him reaching on that one. I talked about the Jonathan Taylor move. If Kyron Williams could stay healthy, that's a lot of upside. Ronnie, you talked about Caleb Williams in depth there. He's got quite a bit of upside. I think that Jake Ferguson is the number 2 option in Dallas. Where you got Dallas Goedert, not the greatest tight end, but he could pretend some value, and then Ben Sinnott. So that's a decent tight end group. And then when you got DJ Moore, JSN, who I think is going to break out this year, you said that Khalil Shakir has that punting return value. So some very good running back depth, some good quarterback depth, some good tight end depth, and the wide receiver isn't his strength. But at this point, it doesn't need to be because of every other position there. So I don't mind that draft either.
All right, so we got. I'm going to call you Hendu. He was going deep, 18. We got Greenberg giving Hendu the MVP. I'm giving it to Jack Straw. We got Ronnie giving it to Sun Devil and Schultz. Who's your MVP?
I'm going to go to H Field, get that Mahomes Kelsey stack. I
Angie.
love that wide receiver room that's 6 deep. We talked about the running backs that are a little weaker here, which might cause an issue. But down the board here, you're looking at like Dobbins late. I'm not like the biggest Dobbins guy, but when you're talking about the number of carries, extra points that could be useful. Same thing with Estime. He's got a chance to come in late and rack up carries, and that's gonna make a difference. So yeah, I really like that team. My biggest question here is, I think JJ McCarthy is a huge reach on that spot when you don't even know he's going to start.
But he's not bad as a third quarterback, especially when she doesn't need him until late. We got by 11 and by my glasses need to be fixed. 6 or 8 for Mahomes. Is that a 6 or an 8? 6. Okay. So she won't need him until week 6. He might be starting by then. Who took Sam Darnold? Did Darnold go?
Yeah, around.
You got him again. It was funny because in the draft the other night, I was making fun of you because you kept taking my guys. I'm not saying people I wanted to draft, but guys from our shows collectively that have all been my guys. And so you also went auto draft for your first pick, and we booed collectively. But
this is a little bit of a trap, but Biggs, go ahead and ask Ronnie about his QB3.
Ronnie, who's your QB3?
I don't remember. Who is it?
It's Mr. Gardner Minshew.
Oh yeah, the Secret Garden.
Because I snagged Aiden in round 17, and he got Minshew in 14, which I think Aiden's going to start. But
Aiden is the starter. What it really reminds me of is last season, Trey Lance was going before Brock Purdy, and it's kind of a similar situation.
Respect on Gardner Minshew's name. Don't compare him to that bag of potatoes.
I've got a Gardner Minshew T-shirt. Okay, I'm a Jags fan, but
I think this Gardner on the other side is going to get as many snaps this year as Trey Lance did last year. I was going to say
on the opposite side of the coin, I've also watched a lot of Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, no, I mean the hair, the mustache, like the dude has it. Like the it factor, Gardner has it. He's just not a great quarterback.
No.
And so those were our MVPs, but of course I won the mock, and I'll tell you why. Number one, because nobody else took 4 quarterbacks, and number 2, Treylon Burks. So,
all right, yeah, I mean I can't argue there.
Is Treylon Burks your Sky Moore?
Probably. I'm a big Arkansas fan. I watched every game that he played at Arkansas and was huge on him coming into his rookie season. And he has just been slapped around by situation. And it's just like, it's one of the tragic stories in NFL history, to be perfectly honest.
And with that,
NFL Films
Yeah,
documentary.
Dude,
Ronnie.
if he could only get a couple opportunities to show what he's worth,
Yeah.
I think they need to trade him to somebody that's going to throw the ball 600 times. Like, imagine him going to the Chargers. They're only going to throw the ball 400 yards, but that was I was thinking Herbert, and then I went back and remembered Harbaugh. Yeah, if he could find himself in a situation where he could be not wide receiver 5, and they said that he's going to be playing special teams, and so I'm kind of going, he's going to return, and then everybody makes fun of me and goes, no, they mean gunner. So my IDP leagues that count tackles,
that's the gunner position. That is what I call the. Unfortunately, we're still paying you to do something.
Just
position.
fucking trade him. Like trade him somewhere that's gonna that has like a high volume offense that it doesn't necessarily have like established wide receiver room with like an alpha. I'm not saying that he's an alpha. I'm just saying that's the type of situation that he would be able to like come into and maybe demand some targets, because it's not going to happen with Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins and Tyler Boyd there. It's just, and he happened to come into an Arthur Smith offense with awful quarterbacks and Derrick Henry. It's just like he just got slapped down, and the football gods apparently hated him. And
we've given Treylon Burks too much airtime on this show over the last like he's gotten more playtime on our network than he has on the field. So
that's true. That's true.
So Ronnie, man, you've been an awesome guest. You've been very animated. We love your takes. Hope you don't mind some of the pushback. It's all in good fun. We loved having you on and appreciate you reaching out and getting us on that Expo chat and stuff like that. You want to tell everybody where to find all your awesome stuff, like, and keep doing the stuff that you're doing, the awesome, mental health, podcasts and stuff like that. It's really important, especially for our viewers and everybody that is in the industry to keep our minds, healthy. So tell everybody where they could find your stuff and continue to do your awesome work. Yeah, well, where your experience in life starts and ends? Between your ears. So take care of that shit. I'm on Twitter at Ronnie Evans, wherever it is over there. The one I would really appreciate if people were going to go follow at Good Guy AI, because that's still a static Twitter account because I haven't launched the content yet. But it has been a part of my mental health journey, and overcoming anxiety and fear and depression is like getting that off the ground. And so I'm really proud of myself and nervous and very much anticipating like getting some of that content launched and get it out there, because it's just like mental health is important. I think artificial intelligence is really, really important right now. And at the very minimum, people, especially in industries like ours that are under the kind of the target site of these AI movements, like we work in a stats and projections field. You can't go look at any expert in the AI field over the last 15 years and watch them do interviews where they talk about industries that are going to be affected by artificial intelligence and have them not mention stats and projection as one of like the big three. And so I hope that just like the mental health show, it sounds like it had a good impact, got a little over 20,000 views on it, and was really thankful for that. And I've had people reach out to me privately and share how much it impacted, like certain episodes impacted them. And that felt really good. It felt great to be a part of the industry and doing something meaningful. And I'm hoping that Good Guy AI can serve a similar purpose within the industry to help get everyone up to speed and make sure people don't get left behind as this stuff starts to continue to ramp up. But that's at Good Guy AI. I'm at Ronnie Evans on Twitter. My start in this industry, or well, not start, but my current secret occupation is and has been for the last 5 years with Gridiron Ratings. And they just brought in Jordan Vanek, potentially a couple other pretty big additions here.
Yeah, that's my friend Jeff DiMatteo, who's one of the sharpest people in the industry when it comes to actually understanding what's happening on the football field, not just like the data behind it for fantasy. So definitely go follow them too. And then I can't talk about it yet, but I did just start a new job in the industry. That's a paid gig and it's going really well. Like 5 weeks ago, which I can announce once the Expo kicks off. So we'll find about it then.
Yeah, don't get fired on your day off. But yeah, that's why we wanted to have you on the show, because you are one of the good people, and the things that you do impact fantasy football in a positive way and impact the space in a positive way. And that's one of the things that the Scott Fishbowl is all about, and what Fantasy Cares is doing is all about. And when we had Wendy early on, the Battle of the Sexes is doing the same thing. Steve Lawson with the Rainbow Bowl, Polly's Playoff, all of these incredible things that are doing great things in the space. And you are part of that. So if there was like a Mount Rushmore of like people who are doing great things in the space, it would be more than 4 heads, but you would have one of those heads.
Well, shit, dude. Appreciate you saying that. I don't know that I agree, but I'll keep pushing forward and trying to do the same thing I have been, for sure.
You don't have to agree. I'm not wrong.
You're very right.
Well, I appreciate you. And wait, Greenberg, what's your actual first name?
Mike.
Grin.
Mike. Thank you, Mike. And then Schultz, what's your actual first name?
Zach.
Zach and Mike. Nice
Wednesday.
to meet you guys. Mike, you're going to be at the Expo. Are you not, Zach?
I am not.
Okay. Just want to make sure
I'll be there
out of that group chat. All right. And we'll grab some beers while we're there too. And for anyone that's watching, if you're still watching the stream, go to the Expo and you can grab a beer with us while we're there.
And I would say for your upcoming series, reach out to Schultz.
I will do.
He might have a story to tell.
Yeah, heck yeah, man. We'll definitely get that figured out.
Ronnie, thank you so much. Thank you everybody for watching. I will be back with you at 10 in the morning Pacific Standard Time with Andrew Cooper and Hoove tomorrow night. So keep watching the Summer of Fish. And let me get, because our producer is derelict in his duties. Let me get to this.
I should have made you an AI song for this. That would have been fun.
That would be good.
Coming up tomorrow, Red Snapper.